As you mentioned that I myself work in a startup now, there are a lot of challenges in startups, right? Especially regarding technical leadership. I mean, tech stack is probably one thing, but given that so many resources available, why do you think tech teams face so many challenges when it comes to technical leadership or even when they scale up as they hire more and more people? What do you think are some of these challenges?
One of them is the lack of proper guidance I have mentioned, which is from tech, we are not trained in some of the things that expect for us in these leadership roles. At the end, going from development to management is not a promotion. If someone is thinking about that as a promotion, they need to forget about that because it's an entirely new career. When your schedule is totally different day by day, hour by hour to what you would expect from a developer, it's not a developer promotion anymore. It's a different career. So there is normally a lack of proper guidance for that. Internally, because in these startups, scale ups, maybe at that point there is not still HR or not standard learning and development processes. And in the case of external, I have already mentioned there is a lack of references, a lack of standardization, and a lack of a community that could really connect all these topics and standardize the roles, which are the function, responsibilities, and what is expected from these kind of professionals, as well as you have it for Scrum Masters, their coaches, product managers that have created a hype around the position. They have really defined and standardized through associations as well. They have prepared proper training, a lot of training in different countries, certifications, and it's like more or less clear what the product manager should be doing, what the product leader should be doing, what the CPO should be doing. They have the tools, they have the mentors, they have the network, they have the community. This is, I think, not happening for leadership in tech. And this is for me one of the problems. And the other is in this stage, startup scale up is always high growth. Both for managers and for engineers, you have better things to do. There is always a priority to grow the product, to reach new markets, to put new features to compete with the big players, and to go out of the MVP stage to have a fully fledged product. And for that, you need to grow the team. These problems are big enough to really justify that all your team from both engineers and managers are in coding, in really working and delivery. So they have no room for proper training. They have no room for the leader, for the CTO to be the mentor of the team. And at some point they struggle with that, or they don't act in advance before the big wave of growth is arriving. And by the time they really need to deliver, they have not prepared the team to grow. They have not prepared the right skills in the right people that are maybe the right ones to grow into management positions, or they have not prepared the hiring process in advance. So the new managers are already here by that time and the learning curve already done. They have understood the culture of the company, the dynamics, how the company is evolving, and which are the major problems that the tech team has to fix in order to ensure this successful and organic, stable growth. So I would say these kind of problems.
So when you say about scaling up organically, right? I mean, most of the startups, of course, started with a small team, very close relationship whereby they all help each other. Even like for technical leaders, there's not much leadership per se. It's more about solving problems, building up your products. And when you scale, that's when actually you realize that, oh, actually, I need all these management leadership skill set within the company. So there are two aspects, of course. The first thing is about hiring an external people to come in. But how about the internal, the people who have been there since the beginning in the startups? Could you maybe give some tips? How should these people who have been around in the company building up from zero up to a certain scale, what should they do to actually upskill their management or leadership?
So in order to upskill, I think the first thing is to be clear about what is expected from them. So having clear career path, even if you are getting it borrowed from another, for example, this career path that you can find in levels.information, the one that also published James Steiner in the engineering manager as well. So you can find reference there so you can get your own career path easily. But once you have this already assumed and internalized by the whole team, so they understand how is going to be the progress and what is expected from them, you can prepare these learning and development initiatives according to the skills that they need to foster for the different roles. And here, in order to prioritize those initiatives, I think getting a proper budget, if you realize that you as CTO or your HR team, if any, cannot deal with training them properly or cannot deliver all the time needed for this mentorship, is looking for partnerships. Here is where leader can help as well. But you need to prepare a proper budget for that. You need to be clear about that. How much you are going to prioritize them growing in the company through the amount of money that you will dedicate to them. So that's for me important. But the other part is having proper mentoring. So for me, the most important part is that they have proper mentoring and personal guidance into the company directly from taking this onboarding in a new position. Remember, it's not a promotion, it's a new role. So taking it as when you are onboarding a new person into your company, you are taking care of them, you are giving them a learning curve, assigning the things little by little, presenting different people so they are getting used to the departments, the networks. So you need to do the same for someone that is going to be a new manager. So assignments little by little, taking them by the hand and then exposing them to the challenges by making them feel safe that you are there, and then slowly removing yourself from the challenge, from the equation, helping them as well clarify the long-term personal goals. So they being clear about what they want to do in life, if they really want to lead, knowing what is there for the next stage, knowing clearly what's there with this career path, showing a bit of your day as a CTO or explaining or putting them in contact with other tech leads or engineering managers, maybe from the company, other department, maybe from another companies, if you know them. This will expose them to the real role and they can decide with all the cards in their hand if they want to continue in that path. So this will build this safety for them, this confidence that this is the path, and then they will really pursue them with all their strength, all their energy. But they need to feel safe and confident, right? And if they see that you are taking care of them in this transition, you understand this transition as really risky and that you need to deliver time, and they see you involving your time to help them succeed. That is called guided discovery of this leadership role. It's really what for me empowers them to do their best job and being confident and really sticking to the role and not looking back to development again.